Yeah, let's watch this.
That people always bring up.
This is a conversation between DJ Akademiks, Hasan, and Myron Gaines. I just saw it today. I'm curious about listening to this little bit of a debate. It's on the Hasanabi Productions YouTube channel. So I'm curious. Let's give it a watch. You know.
Yo, let's okay. Believe women, especially black women, and I agree with that. We believe women and black.
Disagree. I'm just kidding.
It doesn't seem like you agree with that much. At least right now. Come on.
I don't know too much of the context of what's going on, so you know, obviously, just so you know.
No, I do. Okay, but here's the thing. So if I'm believing Meg Thee Stallion, she first told me I stepped on glass. I believe you. You stepped on glass. Then she says, "No, I didn't."
One of your mods banned me from the chat.
No, did they?
Yeah.
I know you hate this guy, but yo, could we bring my man Myron in? He's been following this case with me the whole time, and he's been very in tune with all the
Sure. If you want to bring him in, we can have that conversation with him as well.
Wait. How do I don't know how to add people, brother. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. I did a group thingy.
It's not. All right. It's kind of cool to see this conversation. All right.
How does this work?
So, you need backup? I thought we were having a normal conversation.
It says Hasanabi destroys Fresh and Fit in a debate. I don't even think both of them are there. I think it's just Myron, but okay.
No, because we're going over facts and also narrative.
Now you're bringing the Fed involved? God damn, dude.
Because Myron used to be a federale. That's how they say it in Italian. Okay.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yo, is he not? Is he not a Fed? I thought he was, but
Hasan, you know you're virtually signaling crazy. Yo, I'm with you on.
That's an exit ramp for you.
Oh, stop! He was just making a joke. That's funny though. You're virtually signaling crazy because I think that he tried to make it seem like he's like, oh, being Fed is bad, but he's just being a little sussy.
To say virtue signaling, it's just like, oh, you care about women so much. You're virtue signaling. Like, no, I'm just looking at the situation. Like, someone got shot.
Personally, I hate fucking women so much. That's why I fuck men.
They said someone got shot. They said this person shot me. I'm like, okay, it seems like that could be true.
This would be a crazy conversation, right? Hold on.
Is this what it's about? Like somebody getting shot? Oh, I think I heard about that. Didn't Drake say that they were shot? I believe Drake. I stand with Drake. That's it. Okay.
What's going on?
Okay, there we go. What's happening?
Hello?
Okay. Yo, here's the point I'm trying to say. You hear me?
Okay.
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. Here's the point I'm trying to say, brother. No, it would be different if I was sitting here like fucking punching in the air, like I'm not accepting the fucking verdict. I am. It's accepted. All I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but you keep saying I'm also virtue signaling. I'm in the wrong. All this other stuff. You know what I mean? Like
you're throwing these things in the air to say, well, why didn't you know that he was guilty from the get go? And I'm like,
no. I said, okay. I said when someone is shot, regardless of whether they're a man or a woman, okay, and they survive the shooting, and they turn around and say this person shot me. I'm not immediately gonna be like, I don't know. I feel like they're lying. Like, what the fuck? She got bullet fragments at her feet.
I think it's reasonable to think that she's telling the truth, or just. I mean, that makes sense to me. You know, I mean, I have lied a few times about getting shot myself after I was shot. I don't know. I mean, is there like a gang related thing there? I feel like probably not. Maybe that's why she would potentially lie. I don't know. Drake said she wasn't shot. I stand with Drake.
I didn't say she didn't get shot. I don't know by who.
Okay, I understand, but you're not hearing me. I'm saying she got shot, and she said this person shot me. Okay,
and then she said I did not see him. My back was turned.
No, she also said she did see him. She literally turned her neck around in her testimony enough to be able to see who was shooting at her.
Okay. All right.
She also said the dance bitch line too.
Nobody, even her best friend, never even heard that line.
Okay, but it doesn't matter because her best friend also, literally, the more important part of this conversation is
that's true. Drake would know more about shooting since he was shot in Degrassi. That's a good point. I think that people need to value that perspective more. Excellent point, my friend.
Friend also originally in the actual testimony, the 911 calls, in every single circumstance, said that it was Tory Lanez who shot Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh, so like there's multiple people. Wait, multiple people said this?
In every single circumstance, this conversation is her best friend also originally in the actual testimony, the 911 calls, in every single circumstance, said that it was Tory Lanez who shot Megan Thee Stallion.
So even from the 911 calls, they said it, and she said it. That sounds like this probably happened. All right, why is there a debate over this?
Lanez also apologized to every single person involved. Now he's Canadian, so maybe that's the reason why he apologized. Canadians love.
We just
in every single circumstance said that it was Tory Lanez who shot Megan Thee Stallion. Tory
All right, so Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion. That's what seems like to be the case. Okay. Sad stuff, brother. You hate to see it. We gotta love Megan Thee Stallion. You know, she's the best.
Lanez also apologized to every
She twerked on the Female Hulk show. She's the best.
single person involved. Now, he's Canadian, so maybe that's the reason why he apologized. Canadians love apologizing. But ultimately, it does seem a little suspicious when everyone is saying that everyone involved originally in the immediate aftermath is saying this person shot this person, okay?
Yeah.
All right, okay, so as it relates to that, let me ask you this question.
So why do you think Kelsey said Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion and then pled the fifth this time around a year later?
Okay, so why do you think that listen, she said that when she wasn't under oath. Why do you think when she was under oath, she said, I never saw Tory shoot anyone or saw Tory with a gun? You're using when she's not under oath. I'm using when she could actually be charged with perjury. So
okay. So somebody said under oath that it wasn't okay. So they potentially lied under oath versus didn't lie. Oh, I mean, I guess that makes sense. They said something under oath. That's different. I guess that's what they say. Who said that under oath? It's fucking crazy. This is a fucking clown festival.
So you're saying she lied to you're suspecting that she lied originally to the well, not the prosecutors, but the investigators.
Well, it was actually the prosecutors because they only did that. That interview that we're talking about was done in September, directly to problem.
So you can't do that though. That's still you still can't lie to the prosecutors in that regard.
Hey, you guys made me feel uncomfortable.
Like that's still illegal.
She was hinting towards, hey, I was under duress.
Okay.
Okay, but she also said Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion. So you're like you're desperately grabbing on to her hinting at things while simultaneously completely writing off all the shit that she did say.
So you're telling me that you are going to take
She contradicted her under oath testimony versus what she initially said. Okay, well, so which side is Hasan looking at? Because to me, logically speaking, I could understand having a different perspective from what you initially said versus being under oath, only because like in the moment of getting shot could be like a pretty intense traumatic experience where you may not be acting optimally. Remember that thing I covered, like the woman who was at the gas station and tried to give the wallet back to the person she thought it was. So she was in the gas station, she saw the wallet, or the credit card, and she's like, oh, and she went to give it back to the person she thought it was. She's like, oh, is this yours? She's like, yeah, and she gave it to her. And then she got like charged with trying to steal it and giving it to the other person. And then she's like, when she's in the police office, they're like, oh, but you gave the wallet. She's like, no, I didn't. I gave it to the clerk. Like, she forgot what happened. But if you look at the stuff, like the video, she's 100% on the right. Like, she didn't steal anything. It's very clear. But she just didn't recall accurately. Like, I mean, is that what it is? Because that, I can understand why. Yeah, that CC lady, I guess is what you want to say. Yeah, sure. That girl, the credit card girl. Yeah. So like what's the perspective we're operating under? You like the in oath or the out of oath one? Because I can understand why things are changed, or maybe her lawyer advised her to change it because you know how lawyers are, brother. You know, they're like, what lawyers will usually have their clients there's what's happened, the perspective of each of them of what's happened, and then what the lawyers tell you to say, which is even more exaggerated so that you can meet in the middle in some capacity. There's a lot of up in the air stuff here. Okay.
The interview over the phone, right? Way more serious than her testimony under oath in person in court.
Also, she never said she doesn't know. I'm pretty sure she said that she's pleading the fifth and that she didn't want to answer.
No. She pled the fifth anytime it was a conversation about how did you guys, was there a fight before the shots were fired? And she said what I believe the driver's going to say. Hey, I never saw Tory with the gun. This is what she said. Definitely. 100%. I never saw Tory with a gun, and I never seen him fire the shot.
Wait.
And then at first she said, I was unsure that he was shot, but later I realized she was shot.
Okay, this is precisely the reason why I asked you what your speculation is, because like I need to understand like what you thought happened, because I gave you what I think happened, right? Like there was a scuffle, there was an altercation, right? And then like Tory Lanez popped off, has a short fuse, didn't actually intend to fucking shoot Megan Thee Stallion, accidentally did, you know, little guy, big gun for him at least, you know, hard to fucking control, and he's drunk. So then what is your take? Like, do you think there's a third shooter? Are we talking like JFK Grassy Knoll situation? Like what the fuck happened then? Was it Kelsey who shot Megan Thee Stallion then? Is that what you think?
Oh, well, that happens all the time. Sometimes you just accidentally shoot somebody when you're upset. You know, typical conservative moment. Am I right, guys? Typical Southern moment. Am I right, guys?
Hey, this is why I went into the whole thing by saying, are we here to find out? I said we won't find out who actually did it, right? We're only going to find out.
Okay, but come on. You are making a lot of inferences. Like, don't escape that.
I'll tell you my narrative. My narrative is this. Okay, they're at this party with Kylie. At the party, I believe that Meg, who was messing around with Tori,
Kylie Jenner,
best friends back because the first person, and by the way, it doesn't matter. Shit. I'm not trying to slut shame her, but it does matter who was having sex with who. Tori was having sex earlier in the year with Kelsey. She catches COVID, she goes back home.
Damn.
He starts messing around with
that COVID pussy's something else. So let me tell you, bro. When my wife and I had COVID, that was the best, some of the best fucking pussy I've ever gotten from my wife. I will say though, I almost died fucking her because I ran out of breath. But hey, hey, you know what I mean? That's one hell of a way to die. That's one hell of a way to die, bro. Yeah, accidents happen. Sometimes you shoot somebody. Sometimes you just don't. Oh wait, I gotta go. Come here, you fucking asshole. There you
go. Meg. Kelsey comes back into the picture, and at one of the most and first public events they're at together, they're at Kylie's house. Okay? They were drinking before Tori.
Kylie Jenner?
Tori gets there. He's trying to game up Kylie.
Okay.
Meg feels a little bit type of way because number one, that's disrespectful. I invited you somewhere, and now
we are.
To...
By the way, we're still not at the events that took place. Okay, but you're building backstory. Fine. Yeah, you're saying it's not like victim blaming or slut shaming.
Hey! I want to hear a DJ story. This is fucking bizarre. Sounds like someone fucked someone else's man. Am I getting this correct, or is it a little beyond me? You know what I mean?
It's just it's important.
You have to build it because if you think that somebody, if I diss you as a streamer, would you shoot me, brother? If I say you're the worst streamer on the platform, would you shoot me?
No, of course not. But I'm not Tory Lanez. You know what I mean?
Oh my! So Tory is just like this degenerate guy who's not.
I mean, I think
Tory's a guy. I thought that Tory was a girl. Sorry, is that a girl or guy? Okay. Sorry. Is it a girl or a guy?
I think that he. I think that he is not necessarily degenerate, but he definitely does have like I said, short fuse, very insecure, short.
Well, I would say that it sounds degenerate to me. So it's fucking deranged. You shot somebody over a disagreement. Sounds pretty fucking deranged to me. Regardless if it's a guy or a girl. Why? I mean, it seems a little bit of a defense run for a shooter, but this is the old Western movie we're watching here.
Fused, drunk, has a gun around. That's what happens. This happens all the fucking time to less famous people.
Okay.
Hold on. Short fuse.
Yeah, my Uncle Cletus had a problem one time. Found out that his cousin was fucking his daughter, and he said, "Ain't no one gonna fuck my daughter but me." And that's the end of the story. It's bizarre how normalized incest is in the fucking Midwest. It's like, yeah, you could date your first cousin. It's not weird. I watched a TikTok of someone going around just trying to figure out how prevalent incest is in the South, and there's so many people. He's like, you fuck you ever fuck a family member? He's like, yeah, my cousin, my mom, my aunt, my fucking. It's like, what the fuck, bro? Jesus Christ, degenerates, dude. It's incredible. Wish I grew up in the South. I wish I never went to. I don't want to ever go to the South.
Shooting
relatable, exactly.
You can act like there's no levels of separation, dog.
I mean, I know, but then we come to the other side of the altercation where you are easily believing without any evidence whatsoever. Not a single person has said that this is the case. Okay, you believe that Kelsey has a short enough fuse to fucking shoot Megan Thee Stallion, but Tory Lanez doesn't. So that's why I'm a little confused about where you are trying to go with this conversation.
That's a good point. I have no idea what DJ Akademiks' perspective is. They didn't do a good job of laying out what happened. But this is still a fun fucking shit show.
It's a third shooter with a sniper rifle.
Maybe.
It's either Kelsey who shot Megan or Tory who shot Megan.
You see, in your story, hey, you suck at music. Boom, 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 boom. I say complete cap. I'm getting to it. I'm going to speed up the story.
Oh,
so there's a bunch of jealousy.
Is he trying to say that there was more of a provocation? A little more provocation going on? Is that what he's trying to say? Maybe.
Going on. The women are arguing, but they're also arguing with Tory, which also is in line with what pretty much Meg even said on that Gayle King interview. All three of them are arguing. Kylie kicks them out. You have all three women argue, or you have two women and Tory arguing, okay? And then I got to use Sean Kelly's testimony.
Okay.
The car pulls over, and Meg hops out and starts to assault Kelsey.
Okay.
Sean Kelly said it. She was kicking her for several.
Sean Kelly, who was sleeping at this point, right?
Okay. Listen, we're just gonna throw out his testimony because it doesn't agree?
I mean, no, but I would be a little, I would be a little questioning it a little bit, right? A little bit of skepticism is necessary here because, why the fuck was he up watching the street randomly in the middle of the fucking night versus he woke up the gunshots? That's such a massive inconsistency, and common sense probably favors one side that he did wake up to gunshot.
Well, I guess that does make sense. He woke up to gunshots. I mean, hey, listen. Sometimes I watch the streets. You know what I mean, dude? Sometimes I'll get up in the night and I'll just check the locks real quick. And I'll say, I'll take a look outside, and I take a look at my nice, beautiful white suburban neighborhood, and I go, wow, no gunshots. I'm just kidding. We do live in a pretty nice area, but we have one of the trashiest houses on the block. Personally, take pride in it. Wife, not so much. My thing is I'm just doing the right thing. I'm keeping the property values down. This way other people can afford to move in there,
Which was his original testimony to
Johnny, like pigeonholing on him. There was an altercation. Even if you didn't believe that he saw it, okay. So are you gonna then say that the hair missing, the pendant, the ring or the nail broken from Kelsey was not due to any type of assault?
No, I do think Kelsey got assaulted. I think Tory Lanez and Kelsey had a scuffle afterwards. That was the other piece of the evidence.
She said it didn't happen. She said he never put hands on me.
You're saying Kelsey said Tory Lanez never put hands on Kelsey. Is that what you said?
Yes. And by the way, if she had said that, any respectable district attorney, if you were told by a woman that Tory, before going into
okay, basically, Akademiks, DJ, thinks there's reasonable doubt because the stories don't line up with all the witnesses, and a key witness doesn't remember the claims they lied originally. Okay, all right, I guess that makes sense.
Complete like school shooter age, beat the brakes off you, they would have charged him for an additional count of assault. He's not charged for that.
Wait, hold on. Well, I mean, the case was, about Tory Lanez using a gun on Megan Thee Stallion. I get what you're saying. Where do you think that came from? Where do you think that suggestion came from?
My question is a true question. I'm genuinely curious. Why do people care that much about it? Like, it got ruled on. Like, what is the significance of this particular story in this instance? I wonder.
What do you mean?
Like, where did the Tory Lanez and Kelsey fighting? Like, what do you think happened there?
Meg Thee Stallion says she's seen a bump, and then in the opening statements, which supposedly I guess Kelsey was supposed to attest to, when Tory let off the shots and was approaching Meg, Kelsey intercepted, and then supposedly Tory, he beat down Kelsey on his way to Meg, which Kelsey said that never happened.
So why do you think Tory Lanez apologize to Kelsey then?
I'll tell you why.
I literally feel like somebody's describing like an episode of Sex and the City to me right now. That's how fucking weird this is.
Yeah.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to hear your perspective on that.
This is only a theory. Clearly.
No, I mean, look, I want to hear your theories.
We're talking now. Okay, I would believe, if you've been fucking both of the girls, and then you started to try to fuck another girl, or you were trying to kick game to another girl in front of both of them, they're starting to fight because of it. The fight is escalating, and apparently you throw it in both of their faces that you're having sex with them. Yes, they throw you under the bus and say, hey, you're a shit musician, blah, blah, blah. But if you didn't make it a scene among these two friends that now they're fighting themselves and even trying to fight you, that seems like...
Oh, he got 22 years. That's why? Oh, okay. I guess they think he's innocent. Okay. I mean, I feel like most of the time, I don't know how much Hasan would believe this, the cops seem to do, for the most part, they get most things generally correct. Not everything, obviously. When it comes to this, I would imagine the system isn't perfect. But as Uncle Phil says, the system's not perfect, but it's still pretty solid, dude. So, you know what I mean? I guess I could be wrong, but...
He seems like a good guy. He seems like a really good guy. He just, had both of these women's best interests at heart. That's why he apologized.
True. I'm just saying,
maybe
as a man,
I mean, it's crazy.
Well, I get what DJ. What is it? AK? I don't know how you're supposed to say it. I don't know, but I get what he's coming from. He's fucking around two girls, and like he's just trying to diffuse the situation. That's what it sounds like he's saying to me, and so he apologized to try to diffuse the situation. I get what he's saying. You don't have to agree with it, but I get what he means.
One person shot Megan Thee Stallion, right? Like, so he's apologizing to the person who shot Megan Thee Stallion, because that's fucking wild. If he's both apologizing to Megan Thee Stallion and also apologizing to the woman who shot Megan Thee Stallion, being like, I'm so sorry that things got out of hand and you shot Megan Thee Stallion.
I'm sorry.
If that's believable to you, then
I mean, wait. So is the narrative that this guy might have taken the fall for this girl? Is that what we're saying? Like, oh, maybe he took I mean, I get maybe. I mean, it would have made more sense to have the girl take the fall because women get less time in jail. I'm just being real with you, so you might as well utilize that privilege there and have the girl take the fucking fall. So yeah, why would he take the fall though? It make more sense if she took the fall. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, because it does seem like him apologizing to all parties involved, including the fucking bodyguard that wasn't there, kind of makes it seem like he might have been responsible. Because like if
saying that I'm apologizing for what may have escalated the situation for this to happen, it doesn't necessarily mean to me that he's apologizing for shooting. Unless you're just drastically different.
Because the original testimony from Kelsey, ex-friend Kelsey Harris.
My obsession with Destiny is turning me into a conservative. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't even know if I had an obsession with Destiny. How is Destiny involved here? What's happening right now? What's happening?
Absolutely said Tory Lanez fired a gun at Megan. That's what she told the police back in September. And on top of that, she said she was hesitant to give details now, right? Even though the interview was played in its entirety. There was also, I believe, hold on. Kelsey says she started hearing gunshots. After the second or third shot, she turned around and says she saw Tory on the front seat firing the gun forward over the open right front door in Megan's direction. Kelsey was outside the vehicle, but behind Tory, and could only see Meg from the chest up. She ran towards Megan in defense mode and saw her bleeding. This is her testimony.
Like a Yu-Gi-Oh
and
card.
Tory was still sitting in the front seat, apparently in shock. She claims Tory walked toward them, and that's when Kelsey and Tory started fighting. This is Kelsey's testimony. She describes it as Tory assaulting her and adds that she did not see the gun at that point. Once they all got back in the SUV, Kelsey says she texted Megan's security, 911, Tory shot Meg.
That's an interview. That's not a testimony. That's an interview.
Yeah, but like that is literally that is
well, that would be considered. Would that not be considered some form of testimony, like an interview? Okay, whatever.
Profoundly important. That's her account. That
Hasan saying that the apology means he's the one who did it. Because why would you apologize if you didn't do the deed? Yeah, I mean, if it's just an apology versus the apology, he might just be like, sorry. If he's fucking both girls, and they're both, if one of them's the type of person to shoot somebody over, fucking her mans, or something, I don't know what the story is, but like, I could see that, be like, oh, sorry, fucking around both girls. But if anything, if that's what the case is, they should have shot him. I don't know, like, instead of her, but okay. I guess it makes sense, I imagine the investigation was a bit more thorough, especially since they seem to all have kind of money. But like having good lawyers, good outcomes, I guess, or
played a significant role in launching a criminal investigation.
But hold on. Again, are we arguing what we think happened, or are we arguing what should be proven in court? If someone says, I lied, like, okay, you can play the statement all you want, but I lied. I'm telling you the truth now. Is that person credible? Yes or no?
That's a good point.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? Okay,
you're going off what Kelsey said in September, but she literally showed up and said, I lied. I lied. She's saying, I lied then, and I'm under oath now, and I lied. So I told you, I'm telling you I lied then. What's up? Are you going to say, okay, we're going to just ignore the fact you're telling us you're lying?
She never said she lied, by the way. I mean,
she did lie. She said she lied on her testimony.
Where did she say she lied on her testimony?
Yeah, I mean,
she just said,
hey, that's a good point. If you lie originally, like what's saying that you're not telling the truth? I mean, that you're not lying now. That's fair. Okay, sure. I get the point.
Remember, which is
what's happening. I don't know, but it's fun
because it was very.
I don't know what's going on, but it's fun. I don't know why it's one of those fun things where I don't really know 100% what's happening because it seems like there's a lot of crazy pretext that. So it's just we're kind of along for the ride, having fun, learning as we go. It's a lot of fun,
Very clear when she was offering evidence to launch this criminal investigation, but I don't think she ever said I lied. She just said I can't recall.
Okay, I guess that would be
Myron's
different.
Here. We just joined in. Are you guys talking about Meg Thee Stallion right now? Or are you guys talking about Kelsey in particular? We just joined.
We're talking about Kelsey's statement.
But yeah, I guess that would be different. Not recalling versus lying. I guess the question would be like, how do you recall now later? It's possible, but that you do. It's also possible that it's so weird how stories work. You know what I mean? Like maybe she didn't recall or they didn't recall at the time, but then time went on and there was something they did recall, or maybe somebody kind of almost implanted a thought into your head because it can happen. Because your mind might only see flashes of an instance, and then you try to logically construct them. It's like, well, this could make sense logically, and you start constructing a narrative, and the narrative might not be honest though, or might not be accurate. It gets fucking crazy.
He's using the one from September. I'm using the fact that she got on the stand and said, "Fuck that, I did not tell the truth."
Wait, she never. Wait, no. You can't embellish in this circumstance because this is pretty important. She never got on the stand and said, "I fucking lied." That's crazy.
She did. She got on. These are the facts. These are the facts.
Okay. No. Okay. Before you say these are the facts, I want you to actually show me the facts, and not Milagro Grams, who has been proven time and time again that she was,
okay, Mo Gagnat, who was there in person, who watched it, who is a lawyer himself. He literally said she took the stand. First thing she did was take the Fifth Amendment. You cannot take the Fifth Amendment unless you might be criminally culpable for a crime. Then they said, listen, we'll give you immunity if you testify.
Wait, what? No, you can still you can plead the Fifth regardless. Like you can just
you can plead the Fifth regardless of why. Wait, why? What is they? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. You could just literally plead the Fifth and say, "I'm not answering that question." That's your fucking it's like an American right, no? You don't have to only plead the Fifth if you're guilty. That might be a speculation. Like, yeah, why would you unless you're guilty? I can see that speculation. I don't think you have to, right? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Okay.
refuse to testify.
Hasan, I hate to say this to you, bro, but I used to investigate criminal activity.
I know you're a Fed. I know. I've seen it. I've seen you talking about it.
So I'm telling you, you cannot take the Fifth Amendment, okay, unless you're criminally culpable. That is why Gunna is not protected if they call him to testify.
Wait, no, you can definitely say I plead the Fifth. It doesn't matter if you're like criminally culpable or not. You can still refuse to testify, even if it's
A judge can overrule it.
You're compelled to testify, right? If you don't have a Fifth Amendment privilege.
no. It's literally it's a right. You can just say that you are pleading the Fifth, regardless of whether it's because you're incriminating yourself or not.
You can only take the Fifth if you might incriminate yourself. You cannot take the Fifth in any other circumstance. You are compelled to.
Well, that's different though. Now, if you might incriminate yourself, like yeah, maybe they felt like they would incriminate themselves, but I mean, maybe. Hold on.
testify.
No, you can still no. You definitely still can in any circumstance plead the Fifth. It doesn't matter what the truth is.
What? So you can just randomly just plead the Fifth.
So I'm just looking. I'm looking at it the side right here. So I'm in Mythic Plus. So it says the Fifth Amendment protects both the innocent and the guilty. An innocent person can plead the Fifth if they are innocent of a crime being investigated, but answering could lead to minor, unrelated criminal charges. So Myron is wrong here based on this. They could be guilty about something else. So maybe if they pled the Fifth, maybe that would incriminate them in some other capacity that was irrelevant to the case or something. But an innocent or guilty person can plead the Fifth. He's objectively incorrect here. I understand the speculation that not pleading the Fifth could lead to you be seeming guilty, right? Because like what are you hiding? I get that, but you can plead the Fifth if you're whether or not you're you're innocent or guilty or whatever. So okay.
No, you can plead the Fifth, even if you that doesn't immediately mean that you are self-incriminating. If that was the case, then that could be used as additional evidence.
Yeah.
Like you guys are trying to do right now. But that's not the case. I know
She's
that
not
like in colloquial, in like the you know, in normie speak, we always assume when you plead the Fifth, oh, that means they're guilty, like they're incriminating themselves. That's what we say, but that's not the case. You can plead the Fifth even if you are not actually incriminating yourself. That's kind of the point of being able to plead the Fifth and not having it be used against you as evidence.
Let's use your logic then, Hasan. If that was the case, why did her lawyer fight tooth and nail to get her immunity?
Ooh.
Well, that doesn't matter, right? Okay, so right now, the Myron's claim is that you only plead the Fifth if you're guilty in some capacity. He's factually incorrect, right? Now, the speculation could still be true, but like he's not accurate about pleading the Fifth. You can plead the Fifth even if you're innocent. Innocent, guilty, you can do whatever you want.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'll read from this is the 14th of December. So this is Tory Lanez and Megan trial day 3. Kelsey takes a stand. She admits to lying to prosecutors about everything she told them.
No, you're reading No Jumper right now, who literally, by your accounts, got DJ Akademiks. They jumped the gun and literally posted about the verdict coming in before the verdict had actually come.
Sounds like the debate centralizes right now around whether she said that she lied or whether she's like pled the Fifth or said that she didn't recall in some capacity. And those are, you know, from an intentions perspective, those two things matter. Now, she might have just said she didn't recall as a lie. We don't know, but very interesting. Okay.
Man, you can't just use their one-sided assessment of the events that took place. You originally went to Megan Cuniff. I'm watching your stream right now. You couldn't find the actual thing that you wanted out of her, so you went to find the No Jumper tweet. If you give me Megan Cuniff's actual court reporting, then we can have a conversation.
I got it.
It's like you citing yourself. Come on.
Hasan, you're missing the point here. That Kelsey,
I don't think he's missing the point
changed
here.
Her story. She went in and did an interview with.
She might have. The problem is that like they're embellishing it. They're not saying that she changed her story. They're saying that they're going above and beyond, saying that like she intentionally lied. So like that intentionality is kind of relevant in the conversation a little bit here. And now they're kind of backpedaling. They did got a little here. They're backpedaling pretty hard. They're using like inadequate sources on this situation, and it doesn't make them exactly look good, because if you have this much of a bias in the way that you're going to express your opinion, just like if she did actually lie, clearly originally there could potentially be like a bias or conflict of interest. The same could be said here, where they like very clearly inaccurate about what they're talking about. So
actually, the prosecutor's not even law enforcement, which is another big red flag. But she went ahead and did an interview.
What's the red flag? I can hear you. Sorry.
Red flag is she did an interview with the prosecutors with no law enforcement there, which is a huge red flag because prosecutors are not supposed to be direct witnesses in witness testimony when you're doing a criminal investigation. There's supposed to be an investigator there, and the reason why there wasn't an investigator there is because the lead detective Stogner, right?
Wait,
he has
no. You can definitely have prosecutors directly question witnesses. Wait, what?
No, you need an investigator there. They can't be the only witnesses because they're the ones prosecuting the case. It's a conflict of interest. You need a sworn law enforcement officer there conducting.
Most of the prosecutors are literally law enforcement officers, pretty much functionally. So I don't know. Like you're making it seem like they're operating on different teams here.
Yes, they do work together. However, you need an agent, a detective, some type of police presence there to do the investigation and to do the interviews, bro.
Wait, can I just address something really quickly? I love chat being like, no black voices. Hasan didn't want a black voice in that circumstance. Bro, no jumper. Adam 22's operation. We're calling that a black voices now? Really? Halo Boom? Is that what you're saying in the chat? Dumbass. Shut the fuck up. Meme rapper.
The point I'm trying to make is there's
Wanna
problems.
be meme rapper, motherfucker. Okay, sorry, go
Oh
on.
my God.
There's problems with Kelsey's situation because number one, she was interviewed by prosecutors only. There wasn't an investigator there, which is a problem in itself. And then second, she switched her story up. She said, "Hey, Tory did X, Y, Z, and made him criminally culpable." And then when she came in to testify, she immediately took the fifth.
Okay.
And then her defense attorney said, "We need immunity." They tried to get immunity where she'd be covered.
Well, that makes sense to me based on what we're talking about. So, like, pleading the fifth exists like in case like saying something could. But it sounds like pleading the fifth in this case potentially is that this person, if they testified, then it could have made them admit guilt to another thing that was on the same level or was more minor that they didn't want to have to plead guilty to or have to go on record saying. So it makes sense that they would be like, we're going to plead the fifth until we get a deal because we have an other thing that's like not related. Maybe they had like a possession of a gun or something. I don't know. Some other random shit. I have no fucking idea what the speculation will be. So it makes sense, if anything. It doesn't really make them look more guilty at all. But okay.
All the way, but they were only able to get use immunity because obviously to get transactional immunity, which would be her protected all the way, that is very difficult to get. You would need a DA signature to get that. And obviously they're in the middle of a trial. They don't have time to go back to the DA saying, "Yo, we need the signature." So we're like, "Listen, we'll give her use immunity. We're on the record. We're not going to prosecute her." That's when she felt comfortable to go ahead and testify after that, pretty much.
Okay.
So if she wasn't culpable, why would she fight so hard? Why would her defense attorney fight so hard to get her use immunity, bro?
Some other unrelated
You can
crime,
only take the fifth, right? You can ask any attorney this. Any defense attorney will tell you this. You can only take the fifth when you might be giving testimony that might incriminate yourself. But
that's not true at all. First of all, that's not true. You can take the fifth whenever you want. Second of all, again, it doesn't matter if she's pleading the fifth to not plead guilty to an other situation. That doesn't make her guilty in this situation. That's kind of the point that's being pushed here. Right? So, yeah.
if you're not necessarily giving testimony that's going to incriminate yourself and other people, then you're compelled to testify. That is why Gunna cannot assert the Fifth Amendment privilege if they call him to testify in the YSL trial. Young Thug goes to trial, they're going to call Gunna on, and he cannot claim Fifth Amendment. He will have to testify. That is a part of his plea deal.
Okay.
That's part of his plea deal, though, no?
I can't speak on why she wanted to, why she no longer wanted to offer her testimony. Okay. She did get granted immunity. I'm pretty sure not the full blown immunity. If she was like to go up on that stand and be like, I actually shot someone. I was the one who shot, Megan Thee Stallion. Then all of a sudden your case falls apart. Of course, a prosecutor's not going to fucking do that because someone could very easily fall out of favor with the victim, like Kelsey and Megan did, and then turn around and be like, you know what? Actually, I'm the one who shot it, but guess what? You guys gave me the fucking immunity. You know what I mean? Like that's ridiculous.
She could have understand and said that though.
Well, then, if anything, if anything, if she didn't get full immunity, wouldn't that speak to the validity of what she's saying? No? Or because then okay, whatever.
They gave her use immunity, which means her testimony that was given in that circumstance.
By the logic, Papa, why wouldn't everyone plead the fifth in any case if they're just afraid? I mean, I guess you could, but it might make you look guilty in some capacity. I don't know. I'm just saying that's what I just read it. Like, I'm telling you that like anybody can plead the fifth. Right? The Fifth Amendment protects both innocent and guilty. An innocent person can plead the fifth if they are innocent of a crime being investigated, but answering could lead to a minor unrelated criminal charge. I guess that's what it would be. Okay, here you go. An individual can only invoke the Fifth Amendment in response to communication that is compelled, such as through a subpoena or other legal process. The communication must also be testimonial in nature. In other words, it must relate to express either implied or assertions of a fact or belief. Individual cannot use the Fifth Amendment as a blanket of protection for any statement. Okay, here we go. The test is whether the witness reliably believes that the disclosure could be used in a criminal prosecution or that it could lead to other evidence that might be used. Okay, so you're right. you can't plead the fifth unless you potentially might be innocent or guilty of something else. So that you can only plead the fifth if you believe that your testimony could get you charged in some capacity, but it doesn't mean it's on the same crime, right? So like, I guess here's an example would be like, oh, let's say, let me try to give an example. Let's say I was like at the park illegally at night and I wasn't supposed to be there. But I saw like a shooting going down. Like I might be able to plead the fifth because like, even though I'm not the one who shot them, I would want to plead the fifth because I'm at the park illegally when I did see them. So then I would plead the fifth and I would get like a bargain that would give me partial immunity. So I could be like, yeah, I was at the park illegally that night, but now I'm immune, right? I have I have a deal that says I'm immune to getting prosecuted for being in the park at night illegally. But I can now get testify. That's what it sounds like, right? So
could not be used against her. However, that does not mean that law
and
enforcement.
yet she still didn't offer inconsistencies. She could have very easily said, "I am here to tell my truth. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, and I was wrong originally." She didn't even say that.
Yeah, because she knew before she was lying.
But she got immunity. But you just explained that she got immunity from the original lie that she had told. If you're claiming that she originally lied.
Yeah, she originally lied, and she didn't want to give testimony. Because
so you're admitting that she would not have been liable under perjury in that regard because she had gotten immunity to offer her true testimony in that circumstance.
No, what I'm saying is that she could have been.
If it was her gun, but someone else shot it, it's an illegal gun. She can't claim it. Okay, so that's possible. Maybe it was their gun, and they didn't want to plead. They didn't want to go get jail for that. That would make sense. Sure, I could see that. That would make sense.
There's a bunch of things that they could have hit her with. There's a bunch of charges she could have got hit with.
Like what? Like
which is why,
like shooting Megan Thee Stallion.
You don't trust no jumper. I got my man. I think he writes LA Times. James Quealy. This is Kelsey on the stand. Our interview that they were trying to refresh her memory many times with. She says our interview was not 100% truthful.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. That's good. If it's not 100% truthful, that means that. So there's a difference between a truth and a misconception. So if the girl said she wasn't being truthful, that's different from her saying, "Oh, I got it wrong." So like, yeah, it sounds like she lied. If that's actually her testimony.
You feel good, brother? I'm not telling the truth. He said, whatever you're saying, I did not tell the truth. She basically said it and referred to it and kept almost looking at her lawyer to say, hey, if I answer this, am I getting fucked up legally? And they did many sidebars. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, her interview not being 100% truthful, especially when there's additional circumstances involved in there, like whether or not I'm not familiar if she got asked the question about the $1 million that like Tory Lanez offered them or something like that. But there are plenty of additional instances in that interview. You are the one who's inferring the parts that you believe is not truthful from that interview, and she still.
Well, I mean, like, listen, you could still say that it doesn't mean that you're right, but it does bring her credibility into question. Like, that's perfectly reasonable to say. Sure.
Absolutely ended up getting. Just read the rest of that. What's the rest of the quote?
We're not trusting no jumper. We definitely trust the LA Times.
Yeah, of course I trust the LA Times, and I trust court reporters. And you yourself admitted that no jumper got.
At this point, I would say like, hey, like, send me the article quote so I can look into it a little bit. You know.
So if no jumper got, and fucking literally.
Okay, forget no jumper. Harris says she struggled with postpartum depression and a recent death in the family, and her mind isn't here right now. She also denied Lanez offered her hush money, which Megan alleged he did to the tune of $1 million.
Yeah, the exact quote from her, by the way, wasn't an immediate denial. She literally said it wasn't exactly the way that was presented. I know what I'm talking about because I know what quote that was. The reason why we're bringing this up, by the way, is because she has postpartum depression now. She has a recent death in the family now. If anything, her evidence or her additional information that she's going to offer currently now and not back then is going to be less conclusive.
Wait, what about this one? Critically. She wouldn't confirm she saw Lanez with the gun, which she said in the recorded interview, or that Lanez threatened to shoot her. She won't confirm it in court.
That doesn't. Wait, what do you mean? That doesn't mean anything. She already had.
You keep referencing.
Oh, I gotta see what you
back then.
Saw Lanez with the gun, which she said in the recorded interview, or that Lanez threatened to shoot her. She won't confirm it in court.
That doesn't. Wait, what do you mean? That doesn't mean anything. She already had.
You keep referencing.
Yes, she literally said yes because we know. You and I both know. You and I both know. She went on the stand and said, "I can't recall anything. I have postpartum. I'm depressed. I can't recall anything is basically what she said, and then she pled the fifth. That doesn't mean that she fucking absolutely lied. That's the reason why they played the whole interview.
Well, were they quoting her actually lying or saying that like not all of it was truthful, or did they misquote her? I wonder.
In a court of
Hey,
law,
but postpartum depression will fuck you up, you know.
if any type of witness or victim can't recall their statements and can't even affirm to it, right? Keep in mind, she's now under oath. She already acted weird with the, hey, I needed like immunity of this and that. She
Isn't that
can't
weird? But okay.
co-sign the majority of what she said in a goddamn interview, right? You think that the jury should be like, okay, let's just believe her. Really? Come on, brother.
Well, first of all, the jury did believe her, ultimately. The jury believed Megan Thee Stallion, who also is a witness in the circumstance. The jury also believed what she said originally, which is important to address in this circumstance. And the jury, of course, did not take into consideration that she pled the fifth, especially because she had the opportunity, given an immunity, to go back and correct the record and refuse to do so, while simultaneously admitting that currently, right now, in this very moment, was not likely to give a clear-cut version of the events, considering her postpartum depression and a recent death in the family. That's what I'm stating. That's the reason why the jury deliberated in the way that it did.
Hold on.
Yeah, but you're missing the point here, Hasan. See, here's the thing. Tory gets that Fifth Amendment privilege to not testify and not being used against him. Kelsey does not. Kelsey's a witness in the case. She's not the one on trial.
Okay, but, yeah, I know, but you can still say some dumb shit, or potentially think that you're incriminating yourself, or ultimately say you have the right to plead the fifth, regardless. You have the right to plead the fifth, regardless of whether or not you're actually incriminating yourself or not. You just have that right. That is a right that you have.
Yeah, it seems like you have the right as long as you think you might incriminate yourself, and then you can plead the fifth and then operate from that capacity. Yeah.
You're just rambling, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Well, Hasan's
Tory
right.
Gets the privilege of them not being able to judge him for taking the fifth. Kelsey does not, because the Tory is the one that is accused. Okay? That is the reason why. So when Kelsey doesn't get that same Fifth Amendment privilege to that level as Tory, because he's the one that's actually being charged in a criminal case in a criminal court of law in the United States. So Kelsey doesn't get that, which is why she was like, I need immunity if I'm going to talk. Because she is compelled to testify. That is why she asked for immunity in the first place.
Look,
go ahead.
You said that you have to be guilty to plead the fifth. That is not the case.
You don't have to be guilty. You have to be essentially liable, right, from a criminal
Well, he did say you have to be guilty before. Okay, so there's a little bit backpedaling here from Fred. See, this is the thing. Like they said before, it's a really great point. If this girl said that she was lying originally, that she would become less credible. Absolutely. But then if you're being inaccurate about your description of what happened, or about the way you're allowed to plead the fifth or not, then you kind of lose credibility as well. I mean, how can we take what you have to say seriously? Like if you're operating off of a misunderstanding to that degree, I would be like, it's a little apprehensive about believing what you have to say. Like you might be not be the best source of information here, you know?
Standpoint to invoke the Fifth Amendment.
Yes, an innocent witness may validly claim the Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. If you are an innocent witness, you can still plead the fifth. That is precisely the reason why we look at pleading the fifth as a right that people have, and not as an indication that that person is somehow criminally liable, which is what you guys are doing right now. Okay?
You got a good point. Yeah.
That the entire concept behind pleading the fifth would be null and void if we automatically assume that person is fucking guilty every time they pled the fifth.
No.
Like we could personally believe that they might be guilty. But like you wouldn't be able to operate, like the jury is not supposed to operate under that like bias, I guess you'd say. That would be kind of like the point of that.
The fifth isn't an implication of guilt. However,
but you are making it seem as though it is.
Yeah, that's no.
Well, I mean, one could take it as that, but if you have zero conflict with what's being asked of you when you're either subpoenaed and you're on the stand, you got to answer. You can't just magically say I plead the fifth and then say the judge says to you or you and your attorney, hey, okay, let's figure out why you're pleading the fifth, and you're like, no, just because I want to. They're not going to just be like, okay, you got it.
Here, I'll tell you the Supreme Court decision that the justices made on this regard, because like people do plead the fifth sometimes when they're innocent, or they might be afraid, okay, of one reason or the other. It's normal. The criminal justice system is fucking ruthless, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
In the 2001 Supreme Court case, the justices noted that the right against self-incrimination provided by the Fifth Amendment in Ohio versus Reiner, the court case that I was telling you about earlier, okay, that the Fifth Amendment protects the innocent as well as the guilty. The court added that a witness may have a reasonable fear of prosecution and yet be innocent of any wrongdoing. The ruling noted that innocent people might be ensnared by ambiguous circumstances. So her right to plead the fifth in this circumstance was given to her and was protected by the Supreme Court, specifically for situations exactly like the one that she was entangled in, where she could have very easily been fearful. She could have very easily been fearful that she might be
fearful of prosecution. Now, granted,
committed crimes.
Wait,
She
no,
committed-
but you're still doing that. But remember, you're still doing that. You're still claiming that she is guilty because she pled the fifth.
If you're saying,
But you are a Fed, so I'm not surprised that you think that. But anyway, let's go. Let's move
That's
on.
funny.
You're saying she's fearful of prosecution, right? You're literally alluding to the fact that maybe something that she did or could say would be in some realm of maybe being able to either the DA could pick up a charge on, right?
Yes, but that could be wholly irrelevant. That's the whole thing. I think the problem is that they're like heavily asserting that she must have done this thing, but they're like not operating with like an understanding of even what they're saying. I mean, like you gotta agree with Hasan here, dude. He's obviously like, I mean, he's checking them on a lot of shit. They might be right, but I'm just saying the way that they're expressing themselves leaves like a lot to be desired here.
We're not saying
Yeah, it doesn't even matter though. It doesn't matter because what matters is what she felt in that moment. If she feels like she could be ensnared for any reason whatsoever, she has the constitutional right to be able to plead the fifth in that regard. That's it. And that's what she did. She exercised it.
Hasan, do you not see that she was the prosecution's star witness and that is problematic?
Could be.
Problematic. I mean, I do feel like the star witness was probably the person who survived getting shot, but you know, she was a witness. Yes, she was one of the big witnesses in that regard.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That's Meg. Meg is obviously the victim, so that's going to be a witness in itself. But I'm talking about the prosecution's star witness from a, how do I say this, from an unbiased standpoint, according to them, was Kelsey. And
it would have been the only person to have allegedly
when you get shot, you are a little biased. That's true.
Yeah.
But, you know, you would probably be biased
she
against
said.
the person who shot you. In this case, if you claim that it is Kelsey, then she should probably be biased towards her, right?
What? No, what I'm saying is that the prosecution in opening statements used Kelsey and said, Kelsey's going to come in here and weave together all our evidence. They were relying heavily upon what? A jail call, a text message, okay? And then also Kelsey's testimony. That's what they were weighing heavily on. And then for everything to make sense and come together, they needed Kelsey's testimony. So when she gets on the stand and takes the Fifth Amendment as the prosecution's main witness, mind you, that is problematic.
Well, she, like I said, originally did.
It could be problematic, or maybe it's just her protecting herself because, like Hasan said, the criminal justice system can be ruthless.
Allow this entire thing to come together with her testimony. The text messages are also pretty damning too, like saying 911, Tori shot her, Tori shot Megan.
That's pretty
Why
incriminating.
do you think she texted that, and then also gave corroborating evidence to that? And we're hyper focusing on like her pleading the fifth, which is her constitutional right to do so for any reason. You know what I mean? Like she could just do that, which she did. She exercised that, but we just refuse to think about why she texted that. We don't think about why Tori apologized to every party involved. We're not looking at any of those instances, and only hyper focusing on instances that you can draw reasonable doubt out of, like you're working for the defense team.
You're making an inference that the apology is for the shooting, while you're definitely absolving the reason why she would say I'm not taking a stand, period, unless as soon as she got on the stand, she started pleading the fifth. It's not that she was asked anything as soon as she got there. But so you want to make the inference that the apology from Tori, which was innocuous, honestly, didn't say what he's apologizing for. Say I'm sorry. That's all he said. But you're saying that's for the truth.
What do you think? So wait, you think he's apologizing because like an altercation happened where like Kelsey shot Megan, right? That's what you were claiming. Like you think that's a normal thing to apologize for?
Hasan,
the person who was adding the gas to the whole situation for the shooting.
Because like, look, if I was involved in a situation, a love triangle, as you claim, right? And the girl that was with me shot the other girl, I would not text like I'm sorry to everyone involved. I'd be like, that was crazy. Remember when that?
I don't know. I can see it. Let me tell you something. If let's say I was in a love triangle, with the girl from Ned's Declassified, Mosby, okay, right, and I cheated on my wife with her, and my wife shot her, I would certainly apologize to my wife. Are you kidding me? I'm just saying, dude. Oh, I'm so sorry because it's my fault that she shot her, kinda. You know what I mean? You know, I know I'm sick of my dick and crazy when I fuck my wife, and I love her to death. So you know, if she shoots somebody. That's why that's the only reason why I won't shoot on my wife, because she'll kill the other person. And then that's a death on my hand. No, I'm just kidding. But no, jokes aside, like, yeah, I can kind of see it. If you're somebody dating like two girls and this happens, I can see. I mean, is it likely? Probably not, but it's possible. Mosby's hot as fuck. I remember growing up watching that show. Dude, why do you take both of them? Oh, you stinky little goober bitch. Sorry.
A bitch shot you? That was wild, right? Like, that's what I would text. I think that's what normal humans would text in that situation.
Hasan, you're operating on 20/20 hindsight. You got to remember, these are women. They're emotional.
Stop.
Trying to go ahead and get with Kylie Jenner.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Tory Lanez was very emotional. I think like
you can say that. You can say that. That's fine. But my point
he
is
was drunk too and emotional.
And
when he
right,
shot Megan.
Well,
Kelsey, right? He exposes Meg Thee Stallion for having sex with men that she had originally hooked up with Kelsey. So that is how the argument ensued. So we don't know definitively if he was apologizing for shooting or for putting out Megan's
I know, but don't you think that that's like a much bigger thing that you would mention? You'd be like, that was crazy when Kelsey shot you, right? Because only one person said
that would be
one
foolish to
person
do that.
shot another person.
I mean, he's not going to sit there and be like, yo, that was crazy that Kelsey shot you. No, he's going to say, yo, if he apologizes.
Really?
we
You
don't
wouldn't?
know.
So you're in a situation, you're in a love triangle. You get a lot of women, right? I feel like, or you must. You talk about it all the time. You're in a love triangle. It happens all the time. One of the girls shoots the other girl. You're going to be like, I'm sorry. That's how it happened. You wouldn't be like, how fucking insane was that this crazy bitch shot you?
Conversations that he
Women,
had,
am I right? That's probably what you would say, right? Women, emotional.
women, emotional.
had
He
in
did say it.
custody, and he's been recorded over the jail phone.
So why do you
the hell
think?
would he say,
No, but why do you think Kelsey texted 911? Tori shot Meg.
So now you're moving on to argument.
No. I'm asking.
Well, I feel like that is a good question, though. If she's texted 911, this person shot this person, I would think that maybe the person shot the person, personally. I would like to know their perspective on it. Even if it's like a conspiracy-esque perspective, maybe they have a good point. I don't know. I am curious about it, though. I feel like it's important.
I'm asking you. I legitimately want to know, why do you think Kelsey
It's a good
originally texted
question.
If you concede this point, because you're saying what the text from him should
No,
be.
I need to hear their
question.
question.
No, but tell me that.
I need to hear it.
I want to know what you mean. Why do
Okay,
you think Kelsey texted 911, Tori shot Meg?
Hold on. So my
You gotta answer the question.
I'm feeling like you're conceding that other point because what you're
No,
saying
they're
would be
playing.
idiotic if you
They're playing debate, bro. But I need to know the answer. What do they think? Because that's a big deal. What do you think that she texted under duress? Do you think that she was getting fucking threatened of getting shot or something? Why wouldn't she answer that?
know you're calling off of a jail phone to say, hey, isn't it crazy when you got shot by so-and-so? You might as well give a fucking statement. Okay, if you're conceding that because
So you think Tori was protecting Kelsey? That's what you're saying,
He's a
right?
rapper, bro. He's a rapper. He cannot snitch. That is career suicide.
Okay,
He's not
okay.
going to go ahead and incriminate someone else.
Okay, is that their explanation? Because that could make sense. That could make sense. You know, that one might make sense. Okay, I could see that. It could be career suicide if he snitches. Okay, I could see that. Oh fuck.
He's a rapper, bro.
answer the other one because I have an answer for the other one.
Fuck out of here.
He can't do that.
Fuck.
Yo,
Oh,
but
okay,
like-
that's why. Okay, got it.
It does make sense. It is an
Every
argument.
rapper that gets caught cooperating with the police or snitching or doing anything that might put someone else in jail, their career is ruined. So
I mean,
of course
I don't know.
he's-
I don't know if their career is ruined. They can still go on DJ Akademiks' broadcast like Tekashi does all the fucking time. You know what I
Are we
mean?
gonna stick to the facts here? Or are we going to try to make side jokes?
Hasan is like a troll. You know, he's like no enough troll.
Like, yo, this guy isn't qualified to talk about the culture or anything like that, bro. Dude, your facts, bro, are non-existent.
Oh shit, we have fit. Listen. I get what they're saying. Hasan doesn't know the culture, so he could be wrong. It very well might be wrong. I will say though that sometimes an unbiased perspective, somebody who's not about the culture, might be able to bring in something that's like a little bit like different. Maybe they're right. You know, I'm not saying that he has to be right, but sometimes people are so biased in their own situations that maybe they don't necessarily see things as accurately. Maybe he's correct. Maybe Hasan's completely wrong. We don't know a dick about shit. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because this is already, prosecuted and everything. Everything's all said and done. But I mean, there's a logic. There's argument.
Like,
What's happening? I don't know.
You're just deflecting.
I'm not. I asked you a simple question, and nobody was able to answer this question.
Oh, look at my
It's a
fucking shit
super
list.
simple question. It's so direct. Why did Kelsey text 911? Tori shot Megan. If that's not the case, it's 3v1 now. By the way, holy.
Oh.
Nobody was able to answer this question. It's a super simple question. It's so direct. Why did Kelsey text 911?
Oh, Kelsey
Tori shot Megan.
Wait, does Kelsey have a rap career? Why would she do that? If she's not the rapper, why would she need to worry about her rap career being over? Or maybe she was the argument that she was trying to cover something up. Why her? Answer the question.
If that's not the case, it's
Do not plead the
3v1
fifth.
now. By the way, holy fuck.
I'll answer that question, but I'm going to just assume that because you diverted, you basically like. You
Oh
bowed
my
out of that.
God.
I mean, you can assume
They're-
whatever you want to, but just give me the answer. I just want to know. I'm like genuinely interested in your perspective.
Now I'll answer that question, but I really could just ask a question to answer, but I'll just answer myself. If I was the best friend of someone who
Okay.
just got in a drunken fight and I unfortunately shot at my best friend, okay, she got hurt. If I'm the closest person to her team, you think I'm going to text her team, hey, I shot Meg? Come on now. Would you text that?
So
Well,
in
why'd
that
she
situation,
text it then?
you think a text message is necessary, right? Like you're saying that the text message is necessary. She's belligerent enough to fucking grab a gun, shoot Megan Thee Stallion, but then also somehow has it all together. I guess like the adrenaline kicked in and all of a sudden she's just like remembered the consequence of her actions and decided to very cleverly and devilishly text this ruse, even though Tory Lanez on Instagram comments has also said that Kelsey had not shot Megan Thee Stallion. And it like, so Clearly, like no one has said Kelsey shot Meg Thee Stallion. That has never even been brought up except for the blogosphere.
I mean, I guess that could happen. This deep-seated conspiracy. I mean, they might as well just be like, yeah, maybe. You know, why not? Fuck it. This thing's a fucking idiot for not waiting.
Are we going to hold what Tory said on Instagram, which we don't even know if that's him controlling his page? We're going to hold him liable for that, but we can't hold Meg liable for saying out of her own mouth a different story.
Well, I mean, it was used. It was used, from what I understand, when LAPD detective Warren Eberhard took the stand to testify that Tory Lanez's verified IG account once commented on a theory that Kelsey was the shooter, saying that's not true.
Okay, perfect. I'm glad you said that. Now, this incident happened 2 years ago. They asked that same detective, when did you see that message? Did you check the IP address of where it came from? Because you know, you could have an Instagram account and somebody could access it from Zimbabwe. Somebody could access it from Costa Rica.
So you think a hacking happened? That's why Tory Lanez, or you think Tory Lanez's Tory Lanez's interns are fighting against Tory Lanez is what you're saying?
Maybe.
Mid-trial, when Mo went live, Tory Lanez's Instagram joined the live. You think Tory's in court joining live?
No, I don't. But do you think someone with access to Tory's? Why is someone with access to Tory Lanez's Instagram account defending defending Kelsey?
I'm not saying you can't use that as some type of proof, but number one, you saw it a week ago before trial when you had 2 years to see it, right? Number two, you made no fucking effort to try to at least go out of your way to prove that he's the actual one that posted it.
Well, to be fair, I don't think they needed that because ultimately it wasn't Kelsey that was on trial. It was Tory Lanez on trial because, again, going back to the main thing, the 5 points that the prosecution laid out was pretty open and shut. Oftentimes, cops not very good at their jobs, okay? I can't talk about feds. I don't know how Myron was, but clearly he wasn't that good because now he's doing a fucking PUA podcast. However,
oh, stop, dude. Myron, listen, you can talk whatever shit about Myron you want, but he's doing better than being he was being a fed. Like, obviously. Hasan is a little fucking troll, dude. Holy shit.
Okay. However, this is one of the instances where it literally does seem like they had a lot of evidence, right? Like, I mean, holy shit, they had the witness who survived.
Politician more than you, brother. You gotta run for office. Like the way you're able to dump
What do you mean? There's 5 points of evidence that are so conclusive.
You move to another one, and then when we try to get you there, you flip to this.
Bro, your counter was someone from Zimbabwe might have fucking controlled his account. The reason why they didn't even have to fucking find this is because they already had 5 points of evidence that was so damning in a situation where it was Tory Lanez versus Megan Thee Stallion.
We're being stupid. You cover all type of shit, even if you're covering like the search warrants that was like executed in Mar-a-Lago. Come on, you know if you're gonna use someone's social media rights,
what the fuck,
nigga, at least motherfucking execute a warrant. Instagram is gonna show you exactly where it came from. They took a screenshot from the shade room. Is that what you want the fucking government to be putting people in jail for? That's what I'm trying to say. They found a screenshot
again, it's the reason why they didn't conduct that level of investigation on that regard was because, again, there was no like Kelsey is the actual shooter theory. There was no evidence that Kelsey was the actual shooter. One of the most damning pieces of evidence was also Kelsey's own fucking text message saying 911 Tory shot Meg.
If the police haven't done their due diligence and done their fucking job, you want us to consider some shit off Instagram? At least fucking run a warrant, okay? At least get the information in a right format that the jury could have some validation to the shit you're presenting. You're presenting shit like a blog. Unfortunately, Akademiks has no I have no. There's no fucking. You have to
Akademiks. You understand? They didn't need to do that because it was
in court. Yeah,
but they didn't. But you know that they didn't need to do that. You know what I mean? Like they didn't need to. You understand why I'm saying they didn't need to, right?
But you're actually relying on it to make your point. So if they didn't need to do it, why are you relying on it to make your point?
Well, I'm bringing it up because I think that it's already there's already enough evidence, as I've shown time and time again, as to why I feel the way I do about the situation. I'm not even getting emotional about this. But it seems like you are a little bit.
Let me take this, bro. Let me take this. Hasan, you have
I like the bottom
attacks, which is fantastic. But you know what? Let's go over each piece of evidence and actually.
I don't really think that Hasan's deflecting. I think he's asking reasonable questions. This is the problem. Listen. Hasan could be wrong, right? Like, who really cares at the end of the day? But it seems like he'll ask him simple questions like, well, why do you think that she lied? And they come up with this like, yeah, well, if somebody else from like Zimbabwe could have hacked the account. That does seem like a little bit of a weird point. It seems like most conspiracies are founded on like are really strong, except they're founded on one like really weak point. And once you kind of crumble that point, they don't really have a lot of validity left in like their argument. So it's possible that they've constructed this conspiracy theory that she's wrong, and she might, or that this girl is actually guilty, or whatever. Or this person's like guilty or innocent, or blah 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 blah. When it's not the case, that's what it kind of seems like.
Each piece of evidence with facts versus you making jokes at how many attacks. Number one, the jail call. He never actually admits to shooting at Meg. He's just profusely apologizing. The text message. Kelsey says, oh, Tory shot Meg. When they tried to bring in the witness to actually receive the text message so they can get some context, he didn't want to come in and testify. I wonder why. Also, the text messages between Meg and Tory, we don't necessarily know if he was apologizing for outing Meg Thee Stallion and her promiscuity in the past along with her friend, or if he was apologizing for Kelsey and Meg fist fighting. Or
maybe they're right and they're just bad at debating, and like Hasan's just better at debating. That's also possible, you know? Any of these are possible.
Starting that conversation initiated the fist fight, or her getting shot. We don't know what he was apologizing for.
Yeah, but you're making an inference. You are the one who's making an inference off of that, though.
I'm inference off of what exactly?
Like you are using that, like that in and of itself, apologies in and of itself, depending on which state you're in, are not admissible as evidence in court because of the things that you just mentioned, right? Like from what I understand, I don't think they're admissible as evidence in court. I'm not using that as like evidence. I'm telling you that in and of itself, when we're having a conversation between normal human beings, is kind of odd. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it's a weird thing to say when there's a much larger situation at play, right? What I mean by that is this. If someone is shot in your vicinity, oftentimes you would probably talk about that rather than apologize for like your own personal actions that are completely unrelated to that situation, right? That's what I was saying. Because if you were in that similar circumstance, you would probably bring up the shooting rather than fucking apologize for a minor argument that you had.
Let me finish my point. The reason why, okay, he apologized, there's so many different reasons he could be apologizing for. It could be for them getting in a fight. It could be for him revealing Meg's promiscuous past. It could be for Kelsey hitting her or whatever it may be, her getting shot.
But if someone is shot, that's the main point of contention. That's the main point of consideration.
That is the main point of consideration. Of course, though, you got to look at all the other underlying facts as to what he could be apologizing for. He could be apologizing for hitting on Kylie Jenner in front of her.
Yeah, that's why I said like common sense, right? Like that's why I said if someone was shot and it was completely outside of your control, you wouldn't say, "Oh man, I'm sorry that like things got out of hand." You'd say, "That's crazy that she shot you."
He can't say that, Hasan, because he's a rapper and his ability, right, to sell records and make music.
Come on, we're making a lot of inferences that are.
They have a point. I'm just gonna say, but that doesn't mean that is what is happening, right? Just because they might be right about that doesn't mean that they are right about that. Like that might be what it is, but like there's a lot of assumptions. There's a lot of stuff that we aren't ever gonna know. That's the thing, right? So they could be correct, but I think that they also could be incorrect. We really don't fucking know. Wow, that guy just died. Holy fuck.
Or like.
It's common sense, bro.
How is that common sense, bro? What the fuck? If he's a rapper, why is he apologizing? That also fucking makes
That's true. Apologizing is gay. All right, and why are you apologizing? You know what I'm saying, dude? That's why I never apologize, bro.
Yo, that's crazy. I can cite about 5 other cases. I can cite 5 other cases where a rapper who should have knew information about what actually happened, even if it happened to their own friend, just shut up. Most notably, Busta Rhymes, who his bodyguard, one of his best friends, got killed. The bodyguard's mom was crying in court. Hey, why don't you cooperate? He didn't say anything. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I know. They're not. He's not snitching, but there's a difference between like saying it in court and saying it to the person that you're having a conversation with. If you're having a text message conversation at that time, when you think that like you have an ongoing relationship with that person, so much so that you're trying to fix it by apologizing to them, you would probably fucking still feel comfortable enough to be like, how crazy is it that Kelsey shot you? Is what you would say.
You keep neglecting the point I made. One of the conversations, right, is Tory incarcerated calling on a jail phone. Why would he say anyone's name? You think he's in YSL? No, he's not going to say anything. Hey, I'm sorry, this has happened like that. No more details, no little, whether it was you or not. If you ask anybody from the urban hip-hop culture, they would probably say you shouldn't even make the call.
Yeah.
Whether you had remorse or not.
And also, Hasan, I think you don't know a culture like that.
Well, wouldn't it mean that if they did make the call, then they're probably more likely to snitch? The fact that they made the call in the first place. If you're saying that they shouldn't have even made the call, the fact that they did make the call, doesn't that speak negatively to them? Because that person, because it seems like they would snitch then? By all this logic, right? Does that make sense?
In terms of like hip hop and the whole rap industry. However, if he snitched in the very beginning, this would all be settled. He didn't say anything because he knew his career is on the line. Now, regarding
his career is still on the line because he didn't really have a career. Let's be real, but 2016 is the last time he was popping off. But
Tory's a big ass artist. What are you talking about? He's huge.
Oh, I mean, I don't know about that.
You might not listen to someone does not necessarily negate.
Wait, can I ask something? Your co-host, how old is he?
What?
How old you think I am, bro?
I'll go back for why?
Popping off, but
I want to go back 5 seconds.
Tory's a big ass artist. What are you talking about?
What is he doing? Well, you can't say that because it's a delay on the stream, so you have to explain to me what is it that you want me to look at.
He's huge.
Oh, your co-host, how old is he?
What?
How old you think I am, bro?
I have no idea.
Like 30,
I have no idea,
something?
but like you said, Hasan, so I assume like 14.
Oh my god.
Is that your name, bro?
Yeah, no, bro, come on, dude. You are a whole grown ass man fucking using memes that 14-year-old white boys use on the internet. That is fucking.
Whoa, Hasan. Let's just be very clear. Okay, Lasan wasn't created by 14-year-old white boys. Lasan was created by like every black person. Every black person got together and they were like, Lasan, listen, okay? All right? I don't think I've seen a single white person. I mean, they say it now, but like, I don't know. The first time I saw it was like Gideon, Fresh and Fit, and those are all the black people in the world. Those are all the ones I know of. Because I'm racist. No, but I feel like I've never really seen a white person say Lasan. Why does he say it's white people? Okay.
Embarrassing. Not to like dismiss everything about you, but god damn, you think that's a good first impression, dog? That is fucked up.
Lasan.
Holy shit, you got a whole ass show for yourself too?
Honestly, you're so wrong, bro. Which is hilarious, bro. The chat's laughing at you right now.
Yeah, go back. Talk about how Chad is defending you.
Let's go back to the
God
facts.
damn, dude.
Phone calls, okay? He never overtly said, hey, sorry for shooting you. And there's a bunch of situations that he could have apologized for.
Sure.
So that's number one. So we don't know exactly what he was apologizing for. And keep in mind, Hasan, it is on the prosecution to prove
Yeah, the Black Council started WL. Is that a real thing? The real Illuminati. Maybe. That's why I feel like it came from. Like WL isn't W, like it sounds like, I think there's a lot of like black people did the whole WL thing. And then like white kids like think black people are really cool, so they decide to like copy things that black people do, which is like a real thing, right? That's how we got Eminem. But then he became one of the best rappers. Proof that white people are almost as good as black people, guys. Boom.
Guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's ambiguous. It isn't clear. Then on top of that, we got gunshot residue not only on Tory, but we have it on Kelsey as well. Not to mention that Kelsey and Meg Thee Stallion got in a full-on fledged fist fight prior to the shots going off. That is a fact that's been confirmed by Kelsey, and it got confirmed by Sean Kelly. Kelsey downplayed and said it was just a bump. However, they were 100% fist fighting to the point where a pendant was found on the floor.
We already talked about Sean Kelly's testimony being inconsistent. I don't know if you were there for that, but like did he wake up to gunshots, or was he just like parked on the fucking street, just watching the street for no reason, and then happened to be a scuffle there?
Also admitted they fought though. So that's what solidifies it. Kelsey also admits they fought. She downplayed and said it was just a bump, but the evidence shows otherwise. Your nail and everything. If someone just bumped you, your nail wouldn't fall off and your pendant. They were full on fist fighting.
I mean, look, I don't know the exact details, you know? I mean,
maybe they had a cheap chain, bro. Plus, nails break all the time. But you can't say that in cheap chain, right? Because that's fucked up. But nails fall off all the time. But the chain is a little bizarre. How did your chain just fall off? It was just a bump. Yeah, that makes sense. The nail, though, women fucking break their nails like literally just standing up. Like somehow their nails won't touch anything, and they still just break. It's fucking incredible. What a waste of money.
I mean,
That's
look.
the problem. You don't know the details and you're talking. That's the problem.
Well, ultimately, I know what they discussed in the court case, and I know that there was enough evidence.
Out of your wheelhouse here.
You can say that all you want, but it doesn't seem like it, especially with this 3v1 situation. You guys still look really silly, ultimately. They might be saying something different in your chat right now, but, you know, outside of your hug box, I doubt that is what's going on. Now, having said that, how is this your wheelhouse? I do not know. I mean, you're a Fed, and you don't even fucking understand how the Fifth Amendment works, so maybe that's good that you're no longer a Fed, probably.
Here's the thing, bro. The Fifth Amendment only works if
we're back to this. There's a Supreme Court case, dog. What the fuck are you talking about? There's literally
You need reasonable expectation that you can be culpable criminally to be able to assert the Fifth. Because if that was the
case, but like again, Myron was asserting that she was guilty of this thing because she pleaded the Fifth. Whereas you can plead the Fifth if you feel like you could end up getting prosecuted in some capacity for something that's not as related or ever related at all because of like a circumstance. So he like either he doesn't know how it works or he's being intentionally disingenuous about it to try to like win this perspective. And either way, it doesn't really look good on him.
Case, right? If that was the case, then everyone would just be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna stay silent," and no one would talk in court.
Facts.
Dude, I'm losing my mind. If the Fifth Amendment worked in the way that, dude, I know you have like cop brain, right? Because you're like you can't get out of the cop situation. But if the Fifth Amendment worked that way, it would literally imply that everyone who pleads the Fifth would be guilty. It would ruin the Fifth Amendment.
Wait, Hasan, real quick, because I notice you do this a lot. Like you throw mad ad hominem attacks. Like I think he's getting straight at least on mine. He's getting straight at.
Okay, bro, it's 3v1. I'm starting to lose it a little bit.
Well, who cares? I mean, like not for nothing. Like yeah, those can be annoying, I guess. But like he's saying like, oh, you're not a very good Fed. But like then again, he doesn't seem to know how the Fifth Amendment works particularly well, or at least he's being dishonest about it. Like why are you so offended? You guys are calling each other Lasan and you know, fucking this, that, the other thing. You guys are just shitting on each other. Like I mean, like who cares? Why I hate debate terms. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my goodness. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'll talk to somebody, they call me fat, like whatever. Who gives a fuck? It's funny. I don't know. I feel like it's not that serious. It doesn't need to be that deep. It's just kind of like jumping around a little bit. This isn't the most serious conversation, very clearly. This is like a fucking actual diarrhea water. It's funny to listen to, but
I was respectful at the beginning, but goddamn, dude, holy shit. Also, your fucking 40-year-old co-host called me Lazan like he's a fucking child. Come on, don't talk about ad homs right now.
Federal agent, bro. How old are you? 12? Nigga, he served our country. You making fun of him? You're lame, bro. So you making fun? Oh, Hassan, nigga, that's your fucking name.
Oh, dude.
I mean, I guess he did serve our country, but it does come off a little cringe. It's like, he served our country, like as if, like, okay, that's cool. It comes off a little bit of like JROTC vibes. You know what I mean? You're disrespecting a future U.S. Army soldier. God bless him for serving our country, but also God doesn't bless him for his horrible takes, mostly on relationships, where he doesn't even advocate for godly relationships, right? Like, I mean, let's be real. I'm just saying, but okay. Red pillars are so sensitive, more emotional than women. I think that the red pillars just don't realize. I mean, like we're all emotional. I have a term coined, goblin mode, for myself when I go a little kooky. We're all a little emotional. I think that the red pillars like to believe that they aren't emotional. That's the problem. They're just as emotional as everybody else, but they pretend that like anger is not an emotion, even though men tend to express their emotions through anger and women tend to do it through like, I don't know, crying or something. So.
Thank you. Thank you for serving our country, sir. Thank you.
It's kind of bizarre to assume that baseline for any cop or fed to be so low that they are incapable of having an above average understanding of the law compared to I googled the Twitch number. What do you mean? I don't know what you're trying to say. All I know is that Myron's initial assertion was incorrect about pleading the fifth, and every time he brings it up again, he's always a backwalk to like a more reasonable point, while also trying to like heavily imply that she must be guilty because she pleaded the fifth. So
you're right. I've witnesses. I've been in federal court several times. I've testified hundreds of times.
You still don't understand the Fifth Amendment? That's crazy to me. Like that is actually crazy.
No, you don't understand the Fifth Amendment. Facts. You cannot randomly assert the Fifth Amendment unless you have reasonable expectation that those statements that you're about to give can incriminate you. It is the same exact.
Yes, in some capacity. It doesn't have to be on. They were trying to make it seem like she must have done it because she pleaded the fifth, whereas she might have been trying to protect herself from doing something else. That's
reason why Gunna will not be able to use.
You keep bringing up Gunna. This is unrelated. You can literally plead the fifth regardless. Okay, you can plead the fifth regardless. It is the law. Okay, it is a right that you have. It's not even the law. It's a right. It's a constitutionally protected right.
You can be held in contempt of court. You can be. There's issues that could arise from that if you don't actually. If there's no reason.
Oh my God.
Abuse against you. That's what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're trying to say, but you're wrong. And
and also when it comes to pleading the fifth, you don't actually have to be guilty of anything. You could just think you might be guilty of something, so you plead the fifth, or you might incriminate yourself in some capacity, rather. And so that's why you may plead the fifth.
I told you that there is a Supreme Court case on this exact issue that you're talking about. It does. I also literally gave you the exact reason as to why it doesn't work that way. Because if it worked that way, then everyone would just assume you're guilty all the time, every single time you pled the fifth, which would literally destroy the Fifth Amendment in general.
Hassan, that wasn't his point, and even when I said it, that wasn't my point, right?
That was kind of your point, though.
Of course, pleading the Fifth Amendment.
No, because you're inferring.
You can. Hassan is arguing you can plead it. Period. Myron is saying it's nuanced and qualifiers. No, he's not. I need you to understand. Like, I don't know if you just popped in. I watched the entire conversation, and when they originally said that she pleaded the fifth, they made it seem like because she pleaded the fifth, she must have been guilty. They were not being nuanced in any capacity. They were asserting that it was one of the reasons why she must be guilty. Now, if their perspective is like because she pled the fifth, I think it's suspicious. That's fair. But they were trying to assert that because she pleaded the fifth, she was guilty. When like he clearly didn't whether it was intentional dishonesty, understanding that like that's not why you plead the fifth. You could plead the fifth when it's like an unrelated charge that could also get you in trouble. So you want to plead it until she got partial immunity, or they got partial immunity, which they did. Or if he was just ignorant of the law, it still makes him come off as wrong. Right. So like Hasan, I'm not saying Hasan is being particularly nuanced. Like, yeah, he's still like doubling down on like it seems to be like you could just say it regardless. But like Myron has pivoted back to this point. He's walked back to this point when his initial assertion wasn't this, right?
That she is guilty, and you're also adding additional reasons as to why she might be guilty. You're speculating why she might be guilty and saying that that's enough for reason.
Okay, crazy conversation.
I want Papa God to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.